today we're going to learn the coolest trick for 2018, and that is solving a Rubik's Cube. Usually I do my videos for Rocketeers in Germany because we are supplying Germany with Aloha and Aloha shirts, original Aloha shirts, but I'm always leaving out the non-German speaking community. So today, for this special trick, we're going to do it in English so that everybody who speaks English will learn how to solve the Rubik's Cube. Rubik's Cube is colorful, so are Aloha shirts, so it is important that people that love Aloha shirts, that Rocketeers, learn how to solve the Rubik's Cube. Let's get started how to solve the Rubik's Cube. And before we go and dive into the algorithms that you need, the moves that you do over and over again to change something on the Rubik's Cube, let's talk about the terminology. And that is, F stands for front, that's the layer facing you. Then we have up, that's the layer on top. Down is the layer below, the layer to the right, and the layer to the left. And now we are able to turn them one way or the other way. So one way is clockwise, and the other one is counterclockwise. And we're not going to call it clockwise or counterclockwise, we're going to call it just nothing, or inverse, a little I that you're going to see on the letter. Let's say Fi is this way. To watch out or to consider is that when you do right, the normal way, it goes back, whereas left, since it's on the other side, it goes forward. So don't get confused, and even if you mess up in between, usually that's what happens. Or down, you turn it clockwise instead of counterclockwise. So just pay attention, move slow, and write down the algorithms. If you mess up, just start over. It's not a biggie, you'll get the hang of it, and then when you see a little kid somewhere in a room, just solve it, and you're going to see their jaw drop and say, whoa, this guy's cool. Alright, let's get started. The first thing we want to do is we want to solve one side of the Rubik's Cube. And we always know which color each side has because the brick in the middle can't be moved. So we know this is yellow, this is red, this is blue, and once you get the hang of it, you usually look for a side that is solved more than others, like this red one. But today, we're going to start with yellow. There's nothing solved there. So, let's start with yellow. The first thing we want to do is we want to make a cross on top that is yellow, and that the colors here on the side line up as well. That is important. The way to do it is we look for the corner pieces and we move them to the lower layer, the first one. Why? Because if we move the lower layer, we're not messing up the top layer. Because you will see if a brick is, for instance, here on the side, what you can do is you can move it down, move it away from the lower layer because you're not messing up anything here, and move this back. So to move this piece that you just moved away, that you move it back. And then that way you can get all the corner pieces where they need to go, because we want to get them, the yellow one, let's look for yellow here, we want to get that one below where it has to go, on the lower layer. So we have the yellow and red, which is going to go right. So yellow, here's red, and here's yellow, so that's where the brick has to go. So now we flip it over, below it, and then there we have it. It's here, and there's red, already lined up. And then we look for the next one. Here's yellow and orange. Move it below, yellow, yellow and orange. Move it up, and there is the first algorithm we need, because as you can see, is this yellow, orange, yellow. It's flipped. This brick has to be flipped, and that's the first algorithm. And that one goes, you see it right here. So it goes front inverse, up, left inverse, and up inverse. And then you see it's flipped, and there it is in the right spot. So alright, let's look for the next one. So here we have a blue one and yellow, but here's green, so it's wrong. So we move it down, and then we move it to the right spot, and move it up. And again here, it's in the right spot, but we have to flip it. So let's do that really quick. So front inverse, up, left inverse, up inverse, and there it's in the right spot. Now let me find the two others, and you do your two others. Hopefully you have a Rubik's Cube in your hand and you can follow me here. And there's one missing. Oh no, we have them all in place. So here you see the cross, and then here we see the colors all line up. So that's that. So the next one is going to be the corner pieces. And what we want to do again, we want to get the corner pieces that needs to be in this corner on the lower layer. So let's look. I have one here, yellow, orange, green. So we have here yellow, orange, green. So it has to go up here. So we put it here, and now is the algorithm, the next algorithm that we need to know. And that is right inverted, down inverted, right, up. And then you do it again. Right inverted, down inverted, right, up. Right inverted, down inverted, right, up. Right inverted, down inverted, right, up. Right inverted, down inverted, right. And you see it's in the right spot already, but I suggest that you always do the down as well, because at the end, when we solve the Rubik's Cube at the end, you will have to do this last move that doesn't look necessary because this cornerstone is in the right spot. Doesn't seem necessary, but just do it out of habit, because otherwise you'll mess up and you'll see why. Alright, so we have the first corner piece in place, so let's find the next one. Here is yellow, red, blue. Yellow, red, blue, let's move it below, and let's do it again. Right inverted, down inverted, right up. And I'll just do it really quick. I think the most you have to do is 5, because 6 times around it would be where you started off. So now we have this one in place. So yellow, blue, orange right here. So let's flip it around really quick. There you go. And then one more, red, green goes here. Alright, perfect. So first side solved, these solved, the first layer is solved with the middle pieces lining up. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Now we're going to flip this whole thing over that the solved side is the bottom, so we don't mess it up. We will not mess with it really. So next thing is to do the middle layer. And we already have the bricks in the middle in the right spot. We can't move them anyway, but we also, they line up with the lower layer. So now you'll see that we have an algorithm that is going to move a brick from this spot up here to the corner. So that means we have to find a brick that doesn't belong in the top layer and belongs in the corner up here, and that's the one that doesn't have, since he is white, that doesn't have white in it. So this one is red and green that doesn't belong up here, and that for now is the only one. So then we move it that it lines up with the green color here, and then now we know that it has to go to the right. So this has to go here. So there's an algorithm that moves the top brick to here or to here. So that's the first step. Let's say there's none of the bricks that we need up here. They're all in the corners already, but all mixed around and wrong. What you can do is you just do the next algorithm where you move a stone from here to here or a brick from here to here, because this in the corner will end up on the top layer, and then you can move it to the right spot. Okay, we said we have the red and green, move it to where the green line up, and then we're going to use the algorithm to move this to the right. And that algorithm is up, right, up inverse, right inverse, up inverse, front inverse, up, front. Just, you'll see it written down here. And then, whoop-a-doo, there's the brick here. And if you paid attention, the other one, I think, moved up there. So next one is, there we see it, orange, green. We move it to where it lines up. And this one has to go to the right too. So I do it really quick, and then hopefully one of them has to go to the left. And if not, I show it to you anyway. All right, up, right, up inverse, right inverse, up inverse, front inverse, up, front, and bam, it's there. So now let's look for the next one. Oh yeah, that's where we have the scenario. So here's the red and blue that it doesn't belong here, and here's the orange and blue that belongs, that need to be flipped. So now we need to move this to the top layer, or this one to the top layer. So let's use this one, because we're going to use the algorithm where we move this brick to the left to get this one up here. And that algorithm is, if you have to move a brick to the left, is up inverse, left inverse. It's like up, left, up, front, up inverse, front inverse. It's almost like I'm spooked myself out here. So anyway, you see it here. Now it ended up here. And then now we can move it to the right spot. And then now it has to go to the left. So let's do it again. Up inverse, left inverse, up, left, up inverse, or up, front, up inverse, front inverse. So there we go. I'll give you a tip. Make sure that you read this below, because I'm sure I mess up here and there with the inverse and not inverse. So the algorithm that's standing right here, that's the correct one. So let's do the next piece. It is right here, red and blue lined up. This one has to go to the right. So let's do up, right, up inverse, up inverse, front inverse, up and front, and bam, check it out. Now we have the middle row solved as well. So one side done, this row done, this row done. Now we have to move to the last layer, and what we do here is we're going to do the top first. And same thing here, we want to get a cross up here first. And we don't need to focus on lining them up with these yet. All we focus on is having a cross. So there's several scenarios that you will see up here. Either you just see the brick in the middle, of course, and one scattered around. You will see an L, where the white pieces have an L. Or you see a line, and then you will see a cross. If you have just this randomly, you're going to do the algorithm once, and then you're going to see an L. And then you want to have the L, when you hold it like this, in the upper left corner. That's what you want. And then you do the next algorithm that I'm going to show you. And then you're going to get the line across, and then eventually you're going to get the cross. So what I'm going to do is, you know what, I'm going to get it to a point where we have the first scenario. And the algorithm, just so you know already, is F, R, U, right inverted, up inverted, front inverted. So now you would have the cross, but let me mix it up again. Front, right, up, right inverted, up inverted, front inverted. So now we have it all like, so it's kind of like we ignore these, and then we have an L here. So that's what I use. I'm going to put it in the upper left corner and do the algorithm again. Front, right, up, right inverted, up inverted, front. And I remember it says fra rough. So now we have the line, and then front, right, up, right inverted, up inverted, front inverted. So now we have the cross. Now we're going to line them up with, we're going to try to line up these pieces with the middle here. And what you're going to have, you're going to have two that line up. So they're either, like in this case, on the corners adjacent to each other, or they're on the opposite sides. If they're on the opposite sides, you're going to have to do the next algorithm twice. And if they're like this, you only will have to do the algorithm once. If they're like on the opposite sides, then you want to have one facing to you that's matching, and the other matching facing away from you. And if they're like on the corners like this, you're going to have one facing to the right and one facing to the back away from you. And then you're going to do the following algorithm. It's right, up, right inverted, up, right, up, right inverted. And then if you had the case where there were across from each other, you would do it again. And in this case, since we didn't, all we have to do is turn up once, and then they're all going to line up. Ta-da-da-da! So now all that's left is these four corner pieces. So now we can look. Sometimes none of them are in the right spot. Then again, you just do the next algorithm once, and then you'll get to the point where I'm at right now, that we have one corner that's in the right spot. It doesn't have to be flipped right, but it's in the right spot. So we see here white, orange, blue, it's in the right spot and rightly flipped. But here, for instance, it's red, white, and green, so it doesn't fit. So it has to go to a different spot. What we do is the right corner, the corner piece that's in the right spot, even if it's flipped, if it's in the right spot already, that's going to be at the bottom right corner from us. That's where we're going to hold it, like right here. And then we're going to do the next algorithm, which basically is flipping these three around until they're on the right spot. So let's do it. So, and I call this the pendulum, because it's going to go up, right, up inverted, left inverted, up, right inverted, up inverted, left. And then now, and I call the pendulum goes like this way, back, this way, back, this way, this way, this way towards me. So it's just my way of remembering it. So now we see they're still not in the right spot, so we do it again. And there we go. Now you see this one in the right spot, this one in the right spot, they're all in the right spot, but let's look at these two. You'll see that they're flipped. And do you remember the algorithm we did to get these corner pieces in the right spot? Yes, it was the right inverted, right, and down. And then that's why it's important now that you always do this down here, because this is going to look all scrambled up. That's my favorite move, and sometimes it messes with your mind. Don't worry about these two layers not looking like solid like they look now. They look scrambled up a little bit, but it's going to all come together at the end. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to hold the Rubik's Cube, and we're not going to move it, and we're going to hold it in a way that the first piece that we have to switch around is at the bottom right corner. And then we're going to do the algorithm, like I said, until it's flipped in the right way. Let's do it. Right inverted, down inverted, right, down. Right inverted, down inverted, right, down. And then see how it spun in the last one, and then here it's in the right position. See how it's all messed up here? But don't get discouraged. So make sure that you don't move it, you hold it. Now, all we do is move the top layer so that we have the other piece that needs to be switched on in the bottom right corner. And then we're going to do the algorithm again. Right inverted, down inverted, right, up. Right inverted, down inverted, right, up. And we do it until this is happening. And that baby is solved. Bam! Just do it because you're going to be the coolest kid on the block, no matter how old you are. Alright, if you have any questions, just let me know. I think this is a pretty cool trick. Easy to learn. There are cases where some of the bricks, for whatever reason, are so flipped that you need like this long algorithm. They are so rare though, if you ever get to it, then just Google it and somebody figure it out, because all I did was learn the algorithms and learn this step. I love it though, because you feel like you accomplished something. Solving the Rubik's Cube is a dream of many, and after watching this video, you can do it. Have an amazing day! Spread aloha around the world. If you live in Europe or Germany, make sure you have an original aloha shirt in your closet and wear it, because aloha shirts are more than just a shirt. They're lifestyle, they're passion, they're joy. They bring the vibe of aloha directly into your heart. Have an amazing day, and ahui ho!